Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, social media bill as well as bill to amend Electoral Act 2010 passed second reading in the Senate. Candidate of the PDP in the Kogi West Senatorial rerun poll, Dino Melaye, seeks cancellation of the election as he submits petition and 21 videos as evidence to INEC. Federal government confirms the arrest of former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Mohammed Adoke in Dubai, says fight against corruption is on course. And things get messier for US President Donald Trump as US Ambassador to the EU, Gordon Sondland, informs impeachment inquiry that Trump pressured Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden.
On Business News tonight, Federation Accounts Allocation Committee shares 700 billion naira revenue to the 3 tiers of government for the month of October.
For sports news tonight, Jose Mourinho returns to club football management for the first time since being sacked by Manchester United in December 2018.
And from Abuja, Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole says several Islamic State of West Africa province leaders killed in airstrikes carried out at Jubilaram in northern Borno State.
Two critical bills have passed second reading in the Senate. They are the Protection from the Internet Falsehood and Manipulations Bill, also known as the Social Media Bill, and a bill to amend the 2010 Electoral Act. Our correspondent Linda Akigwe reports that the Social Media Bill prescribes penalties for defaulters ranging from fines of up to 300,000 naira for individuals and 3 years imprisonment.
It's a sparsely filled Senate chamber. But this is not stopping the Senate from debating the controversial Protection from Internet Falsehood and Manipulations Bill 2019, also known as the Social Media Bill. The bill has come under attack by several Nigerians who are apprehensive that it is an attempt to stifle free speech. Despite the heavy criticism against this bill, the sponsor insists that the bill is not an attempt to clamp down on dissenting views, rather an opportunity to address a growing threat.
Malicious actors are developing effective methods of using internet falsehood to influence people through the use of internet tools such as fake social media accounts to impersonate public figures.
The floor is open for the debate, and unsurprisingly, two senators who have come under heavy fire on social media for actions they allegedly committed argue in support of the bill. Senator Ishaku Abu faced an avalanche of criticisms on social media recently after a video of his physical assault on a shop worker in Abuja went viral in July this year. Senator Abba Muru also faced intense social media condemnation for the immigration recruitment scandal in 2014, where 20 people died when he was the Minister of Interior.
The issue of fake news in this country, if it is not regulated, if it is not caged, it is a cancer waiting to consume all of us.
One way or the other, I think all of us here have been victims of the spread of falsehood. And the manipulation of the internet has caused a lot of havoc.
One lone senator speaks against the bill.
There is a Cyber Crime Act that deals with this issue. I not only oppose this bill, I condemn it in its entirety.
Thank you very much.
The bill is passed and sent to the Committee on Judiciary to work on and report in 4 weeks.
Mr. President.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Senate President presents a bill to amend the 2010 Electoral Act.
Clearly mandates INEC to accommodate new technologies in the accreditation of voters. Mr. President, I keep emphasizing accreditation of voters only. Accreditation of voters during elections, as repeatedly called for by the Supreme Court.
The bill also amends the Electoral Act by introducing new clauses, namely, the Commission may adopt electronic voting or any other method of voting in any election it conducts as it may deem fit. The Commission shall compile, maintain and on a continuous basis a register of election results to be known as the National Electronic Register of Election Results, which shall be a database of election results from each polling unit, including collated election results.
As amended, say aye.
The upper chamber is also passing through second reading a bill to establish the Federal University of Agriculture and Technology, Funtua, and to make comprehensive provisions for its management. Linda Kibi, Channels Television News.
And still at the National Assembly, the House of Representatives is asking the Niger Delta Development Commission to suspend all payments with immediate effect, except for personnel costs. The decision is sequel to a motion on the need to investigate the failure and refusal of the Commission to submit its budget estimates for 2019 to the National Assembly for approval. The House also mandates the Committee on the NDDC to investigate the financial activities of the Commission and report back within 4 weeks.
It's the first plenary session for the week in the House of Representatives, and the Speaker is leading the lawmakers into consideration of issues for the day.
NDDC is charged with the responsibility.
First to be considered is a motion on the budget of the Niger Delta Development Commission. The sponsor of the motion, Representative Benjamin Kalo, argues that the Commission did not submit its 2019 budget estimates to the federal lawmakers for consideration.
Invite the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta and Board of Niger Delta Development Commission or any other constituted body in charge of the affairs of NDDC to explain to the House why the Commission has been spending money which we are not appropriated and approved by the National Assembly in violation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as altered, and the Niger Delta Commission Establishment Act No. 6 of 2000 as amended.
The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report on the Presidential Transition Bill, sponsored by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. The House adopted the recommendations, which includes a 6-month jail term, 10 million naira fine, or both, for any person who frustrates the smooth transition of power in Nigeria, appointment of Administrator General, as well as the proposal of 100 million naira budget for transition ceremony.
What this bill does is to be in line with the best international best practices that allows you smooth transition from one government to the other, so that you can hit the incoming government can hit the ground running.
The House also considered the report on a bill for the amendment to the proposed Labour Act. The amendment seeks to ensure the compulsory registration of foreign employers of labor in Nigeria. Also sponsored by the Speaker of the House, the bill seeks to impose a fine of 500,000 naira and 2 years imprisonment for illegal immigrants, as well as the prohibition of the employment of illegal immigrants.
As of today, if anyone is asked whether your minister or the CG Immigration, how many foreign employers are in Nigeria, how many foreign employees are in Nigeria, who employs who, even for purposes of taxes, we have no such data or records. So this bill basically seeks for the compulsory to mandate the registration of all foreign employers of labor in Nigeria by the ministry and for related matters.
Both bills scaled the third reading in the House.
Long title of the bill.
Meanwhile, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, is describing as false and misleading the report of the ICPC, claiming that 1 trillion naira has been appropriated for National Assembly constituency projects with little or nothing to show for it. According to him, the ICPC should have taken advantage of the Freedom of Information Act to access the right information instead. The Speaker was reacting to a matter of privilege raised by the minority leader, Ndudi Elumelu, who stated that the National Assembly does not execute constituency projects. Mr. Elumelu further stated that no more than half of the amount has been released in the last 10 years, explaining that there is a difference between monies appropriated and monies released. Our federal lawmakers have also waded into electoral matters, and it's the PDP caucus in the Senate rejecting the outcome of the Kogi and Bayelsa state elections. The Senate Minority Leader, Senator Naya Abaribe, who spoke on behalf of the group at a briefing with journalists, says the senators are worried about the trend that appears to be occurring in the polls, including outright killings, intimidation and connivance with security agencies. He says the party is saddened by the killing of the PDP woman leader in Kogi State, who was burnt alive in her home in Kogi State, saying this sends a signal that opposition members are not safe in the country. Meanwhile, the dust raised following the conduct of the Kogi West senatorial rerun election is yet to settle, as one of the candidates in the poll, Senator Dino Milaye, has submitted a petition to the electoral umpire seeking cancellation of the exercise. Senator Milaye, who took his protest to the headquarters of the Independent National Electoral Commission in Abuja today, also presented 21 videos which he says contain details of violence allegedly carried out by agents of the Kogi State government. He was received by the INEC Secretary and the Chairman of its Information and Voter Education Committee, Mr. Festus Okoye.
The petition elaborately contained 21 video CDs, and these 21 video CDs are documentary evidence of all that happened during the election, where hoodlums assisted by either original or fake policemen went around cutting ballot boxes. We had videos of youth corps members confessing that they were forced to manipulate figures by commissioners in Kogi State. We have evidence showing how ballot boxes were cutted in over 10 to 12 polling units in Ward A of Lokoja local government. We have pictorial and video evidence of the manipulation that took place and manifestly was shown during the collation in Lokoja of the Kababunu local government results. If INEC have any integrity, they must cancel the Kogi West senatorial election because it was marred with violence in every part of the senatorial district. So there's no reason to begin to. Votes were returned in places where people were killed. Votes were returned in places where ballot boxes were carted away.
Away from the election controversy now, the chairman of the All Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Ishe Sage, has confirmed the arrest of former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Muhammad Adoke. During a courtesy visit to the headquarters of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Professor Sage said the arrest is the latest success in the fight against corruption under the federal government. Professor Sage criticized those who say that nothing has changed in the fight against corruption under the present administration, insisting that there is no more money to throw around.
The former Attorney General Adoke has been arrested in Dubai, I believe. Yes, sir. So it's a continuous thing. And when Nigerians pretend and say, oh, what is the difference that this government has brought into the fight against corruption? What has been achieved? There's no difference. It amazes me. And for me, it's a sign of patent bad faith being expressed by the elite who were the beneficiaries of corruption. And so they are undergoing the pains of having to earn their living rather than simply collecting unearned money, easy money that used to go around this country, where people were building edifices without any signs of employment of any sort. There's been a lot of change. And the EFCC's activities are responsible for most of this change. The ICPC has done very well too, but there's no question that the EFCC has been outstanding.
In part two, after the break, the Asset Management Company of Nigeria says it stands to lose over 12.9 billion naira judgment debt over the activities of some persons in respect of properties at the Victory Park Estate in Lekki, Lagos. That's in a moment. Do stay with us.